Hello and welcome back to my channel with a new video. I just noticed that I don't present myself in a lot of the videos, so here it is. My name is Nora. This is my cat Sushi, chilling in there. She's always chilling in the background. So I wanted to talk about this video and make this video for a while now, for a long time, but I was scared of people not taking it well, or think I'm too violent, or anything like that. So I've been pushing it, but I think I'm at a point I don't really care anymore, and what's happening in Lebanon is way worse than what am I about to say. I just want to tell people my background a bit, even though maybe a lot of people already know, the people who watch me at least. If you don't know, I am Lebanese American. I like to say more Lebanese because I lived more than half of my life in Lebanon, and I have the mentality more of a Lebanese than an American. I'm not, I wasn't born and raised in the US, so I don't like to say I'm like Lebanese American because people would think I was born and raised in here. So I'll just say I am mostly Lebanese, and I lived more than 18 years in Lebanon. I wasn't born in Lebanon, but I was raised most of my all my childhood, my teenage year, a bit of my adult life was in Lebanon. I have a lot of opinions on Lebanon. I like to say a lot of my opinions in here about Lebanon, since it's not going well there. I want to explain how much it's not going well by telling you about my last visit to Lebanon. I still have family there. I have my mom there. My dad passed away 3-4 months ago. That was pretty hard, but I blame a lot of it on the country itself. He passed away because of COVID. The country was not in lockdown for a lot of time, so it kind of went crazy for a bit. COVID went crazy for a bit, and that's when my dad caught COVID and he passed away a month or two after. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So I'm deeply affected by Lebanon. My mom is still there. I go to visit her a lot. I would want to live and go back there at some point. It's my country. I love it. I want to go back, but with the situation there, it's making it very hard for me to go back. Going back to my last visit there, every time I visit, it just gets worse. I don't know how it gets worse. Like, the government just surprises me with their tricks and how they manage to make the situation worse and worse. Like, a year ago I said it can't get worse than that, and it did. I'm not sure how. The electricity, there was no, I don't know what electricity, I don't know the meaning of electricity in Lebanon. We had electricity maybe we didn't have electricity for maybe 20 hours a day. So we had electricity for around 4 hours a day. Imagine if you live in US and you have 4 hours of electricity a day. The people there are taking it well. They don't seem to be mad. A lot of people are mad, but a lot of other people are not mad and still support this government that we have. Moving on, the Lebanese lira, our money is lira. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. So before it was, let me tell you, before 1 lira, 1,500 lira was $1. Imagine, that's how we began. But now it's almost 13,000. People are starving. The middle class is now poor. The poor is now poorer. The rich is now middle class. People are starving. I saw one old lady going to the store. She just wanted to buy rice, for goodness sake. Just rice. She put the rice in the cashier area. The cashier told her the price. She checked her money. She noticed she couldn't afford the rice, just the rice. She couldn't afford it. She put it back and went outside. That was an old lady trying to eat, and she couldn't afford the rice. basic food. It's not like chocolate chips or whatever. It's rice. People can't afford basic necessities. Let me tell you an example. When I was last there, I got really, really sick. I don't know what I ate. I ate something bad. I'm not surprised if there was some kind of poison in my food, because everything it just, I don't know, not poison. Maybe it was expired and they sold it to us. Whatever I ate, because no one is buying, so it just expired on the shelf and we bought it, and it was just that. I got food poisoning for a week. There was no medicine found in Lebanon for these things. You couldn't find medicine. I was puking all over the place. Every 20 minutes I would go and puke. We couldn't find medicine for that. I stayed 2-3 days still puking because I couldn't find the medicine for puking. We couldn't find a medicine for that. Why? Because Lebanon is barely getting any medicine anymore. I stayed sick for a week, puking my guts out because we couldn't find that medicine. And that's just an example. People are living through that right now there. So a lot of people are asking me, then what's the solution? I'm just telling you what's wrong. What's the solution? We tried being peaceful people. We tried telling them, please, nicely, hey, find a solution to the government. If you can't find a solution, fuck off, please. Let us put other people. They didn't listen. We told them once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. They're not going away. Why? Because they keep stealing. They keep stealing all the money that is left somehow. I don't know what's left, but they keep stealing. The gas situation. Do you know we stayed a few days without gas because we couldn't find gas. It was not existent for a few days. Me and my mom went crazy. We started searching for where to get gas there. So even the gas, we couldn't find gas. So what to do? Peaceful ways, we tried it, didn't work. What's left? Violence. People will tell me, oh my god, no, violence, it will lead to bloodshed, it will be bad, people will be killed, blah blah blah. People are dying. They are already. I don't know what to tell you. They are dying. My family is there and I keep watching, and it's heartbreaking. I go there, it's more heartbreaking because I'm seeing it up close. I want to go back. I can't because of this. So what's there to do? Being violent. If people start being violent, I'll be the first one there to be violent with them. I'm not usually a violent person, but in those situations you should be. I'll give you examples. What are the most famous situations of people got what they wanted because of violence? What's the most famous revolution that we know of? The French Revolution. How did they get what they wanted? Violence is not a new term. A lot of the times the government will not give you what you want unless you use violence. The French Revolution in 1789. What happened? The people, they couldn't make it anymore. There was no food. People were dying, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't afford food at all. The king was taking everything, Louis XVI or Louis XVI and his stupid wife, Marie Antoinette. They didn't care about the people. They were living in a great castle. They didn't give any shits about people. What did the people do? Use violence. What happened to the king and queen? They were dead. They were beheaded. I'm not telling you to kill whoever is in the government. I'm telling you to use violence to get them the fuck out of the way. That's all. Make sure whoever is leading that, revolution is not a stupid asshole. For example, like I said, French Revolution. Robespierre was a bit crazy. He was killing everyone and anyone after the revolution. So we don't need someone crazy on top of this because he will stay. People will use the revolution excuse to put themselves as a leader. We should be aware of this. It happened so many times, like in Egypt with the revolution a few years back. Example where violence was used, the American Revolution. what happened? People were upset that there was a lot of taxation on their tea. Imagine, tea pissed them off. We're dying and we're not pissed off. Imagine, just taxes on tea, and they got pissed. We have no electricity, no food, no medicine, no gas, and we're not still at this stage yet. Why? I'm not sure why. They got pissed. They got their independence. I mean, of course, there was a few other things than the tea, but the tea was the breaking point. Imagine that tea was that breaking point. I imagine what would be our breaking point. I don't see anything else to add to what I said. Yeah, the tea was their breaking point. They had a huge war against British people, Britain. Who was in charge? Of course, George Washington, the famous one. Whoever leads, well, if he's good, it's gonna work out, be a better country, make it easier for the people. If it starts with an asshole leading the revolution, it's gonna fuck us all. Another example with violence in stuff like that, in situations like this. Chinese Revolution, 1911. What happened? The Qing Dynasty. If you don't know, look it up. Qing Dynasty. There was an emperor at the time. There was no president. People were done with this. It was too much control. What did they do? There was a lot of bloodshed. That's the only solution I see. There was a lot of bloodshed. What happened at the end? The first president came out of the situation. There will always be sacrifices to get what you want. Most of the times you can't get what you want unless you sacrifice things. And we're already dying. My dad died because of the stupid ignorance of, not ignorance, they just don't care. So one final example. Violence was an example to the freedom of the people. What happened to Haiti? Same. There was slavery. France was in control. What happened? Slaves were said enough is enough. They had a revolution. There was a lot of bloodshed, of course, and they got what they want. Easy. The slaves were very inspired by the French Revolution, and they got what they wanted at the end. Why don't we get inspired by the French Revolution as well? We get taught the French Revolution. I got taught the French Revolution in school in Lebanon maybe 10 times. Every year I would hear it again and again. Why don't we learn something from that? Why don't we say, oh my God, like they got what they want with some violence? Maybe we can get that too. Let's get inspired from that as well. I know it's hard. People are not really talking about using violence. They just want to use peace. They want to be peaceful people. Well, peace is not going to do anything. It's not going to change anything. Not with our government. You saw the situation. You saw the people. They don't give a shit about you. What do? We rely on other countries like US. We think US is going to help us. Fuck no. US, they don't care about us. Do you know who's the vice president of the United States right now? Kamala Harris. Do you know her? She doesn't love Arabs. If you know, she doesn't love Arabs. She doesn't want to support any of us. She's not gonna go the extra mile for us. You think she cares? And the vice president is one with the president. So whatever she says, he says. No one's gonna help us. US is not gonna help us. France also is not gonna help us. I'm gonna tell you, the French president is not a really big fan of Muslims. If you haven't seen that, he's trying to put so many laws against Muslims, against wearing hijabs, again, blah, blah, blah. He's not gonna go the extra miles because half of the country is Muslims. He's not gonna go any extra mile for us. No country will help us. If we don't help ourselves, we are doomed. Stop relying on other countries. No one really gives a shit. And the most important thing is to be united. If there is a traitor or like someone between us that is not fully with us, this will not work. Another example. In US, in Virginia, it's called, I believe, the Gabriel's Rebellion. Slaves wanted to fight against their oppressors at the time. They wanted to one night go and start killing them and freeing themselves. What happened? There was few traitors in the group. They told the oppressors, aka white people at the time, that they will be attacked that night. What happened? The oppressors saw it. They defended themselves. The slaves died that night because there was a traitor amongst them. So be aware, like, try to be united. If there's one that is not sure about what's happening, this will not go anywhere. We have to have full support of each other as people. We can't be like half people that want this and half people don't really know, and maybe like 10% that is just not there, or like 5% that support the government. We can't have that. We have to have full support. So 100% of the people in that mindset that we need a better country. Sadly, there are still people with the government, and we can't really do anything till they change their minds. I hope they change their minds at some point. I really hope that. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope that kind of changed your perspective of things, about what's happening. Obviously, the government doesn't want any solution. They just want to steal. They don't want any solution. They don't want to give the money to the people. A person can't wake up and be, have this miracle vision that he needs to be nice to people. That almost never happens. The asshole will probably stay an asshole, especially at this age. Most of them are like, what, 70, 80? The president is like, what, 84, 85? It's not at this age that he's gonna change. Trust me, he won't ever change. He's almost like dead. So there's more probability he's gonna die than he's ever gonna change. I'm not talking just about Lebanon. A lot of countries are just going down now because of a bad government or a bad whatever president or whatever it is. To be able to get a solution, you have to 70% of the time you have to be kind of violent or violent a lot. I don't know. You have to be violent. You have to show that you're not happy, that if they don't do what you want, there will be consequences. They're doing that because they feel there's no consequences. They'd be able to get away with it all their lives, and that's what's happening. There's no consequences. As soon as they see there will be something bad that's gonna happen to them, there will be consequences that's gonna happen to them, they will be surely open to change at this point. That's all. So if you like this video, please thumbs up. I talk a lot about Lebanon, the situation there, and a lot about random stuff that I care about. Help me out through subscribing and liking this video and commenting if you want. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, and say bye to my kitty. Bye bye. She's so cute.